The Sword of Flame, Dream Cottage. There are so many locations, but so few places. Have you noticed? Where the honeysuckle hangs in the porch, and the ivy clings to the wall, where house martins build their nests in the eave, oh, there I long to return. I remember the gilded days when I watched through diamond panes, familiar friends in the garden outside, birds, stray sheep, and the trees, foals that rubbed their sides on the fence, and kids at play in the fields. I remember father at the garden gate, chatting to old Adams from next door, who told me tales of distant Mesopotamia. There, single-handed, it seems, he engaged the Turk in the First World War. But war or no, he took leave to err in Babylon's ruins. He would babble on for hours about Ur. And I remember, oh, how could I ever forget her, the farmer's flaxen daughter Lynn, who led me too far down the orchard path, and Cerberus, the farmer's bull-terrier, the brute, that tore a patch from my trouser leg, and then the day father summoned me to the brown study. I've had to earn my bread by the sweat of my brow. About time you did the same, son, don't you think? Instead of gallivanting around, giving Mum and me grey hairs. It was a grey and dull morning the day I left for London. What a come-down having to find digs in Stratford. No, not on Avon, the other one, near Mile End, you know, where the Central Line dives underground, or surfaces, if you're optimistically inclined. I don't wish to bore you with all the particulars of my curriculum vitae, so here's a brief outline. I joined up with Thorndyke, Brierly and Thorndyke, a very long-established firm of solicitors, with a finger and thumb in many a lucrative pie. I courted Brierly's daughter, got married, settled down in a semi-detached in Leytonstone, the better half, of course, large garden too. We made a prickly pair. What weekend bliss, clipping the privet hedge, weeding, mowing the lawn, laying the crazy paving, trimming the edges with shears. When Dad passed away, Mum hoped she'd be able to stay at the cottage. Would I be able to help out with the costs, rates and payments? I wanted to, but I had rather a lot on my plate at the time. We were expecting our second, and, with one thing, then another, I declined. Anyway, she had to leave the place in the end, so she came down to Leytonstone. She'd only been in the area a couple of months when she took poorly. We found her a home. It was the winters she couldn't stand. She got over the first, but not, sad to say, the second. In fact, she died of pneumonia, brought on by the flu, a virulent Asian strain, the doctor said, that thrives in conditions of dampness and smog. Beyond that, he suggested, her nervous system hadn't been able to stand the shock of an all-too-sudden environmental change. I used to get nagged by remorse, but when I was really down, my mates at the local did their best to cheer me up. Don't reproach yourself, Bill. After all, she was getting on. It was just after I had become a partner with the firm of Thorndyke, Brierly and Thorndyke that I first experienced these night visitations, these peculiar dreams. It was all so vivid, so real. I was back there. The scent of the honeysuckle in the porch was just as sweet, no sweeter than before, and the hue of the flowers was lovelier. There even a sparrow was a bird of paradise. But dreams must end, and so with these. I would begin walking down the orchard path, saw boughs arched by the weight of mellow fruit, where rambling weeds once, now the vine did grow, bearing clusters of grapes as big as plums. But that which most aroused desire was the fruit of a noble and mysterious tree. I would stretch out my hand to cup its voluptuous rotundity, to feel the texture of its gentle, yielding skin, to breathe in its aromas, to possess its flesh. But just as I essayed to pluck, the bough sprang back, and then I would awake with the peal of hideous laughter ringing in my ears, to find myself stretched out, an unwilling patient, on my suburban bed, staring up at a ceiling that badly needed distempering, over walls in no lesser need of repapering. Then the wife shouted, "It's 5 to 8, you'll be late." Like a mouse at bay, my only thought was of escape. But one look out of the window dashed all hope. The pylons, I'd forgotten the pylons, standing guard on the horizon. Don't get me wrong, it's not that I have anything against pylons as such. They are, I grant, most necessary, no, laudable things in their own way. It's just that they betray an aspect which, first thing in the day, strikes one as somehow less than pleasing. As it happened, I adopted an escape route of a different kind. I became a so-called workaholic. After my first bout of heart trouble, the doctor advised me to move to a flat. I acquired one in Woodford, overlooking the park, excellently appointed, lift, large balcony, central heating, double glazing, all mod con, no garden, no weeding, no mowing, alas, just potted flowers. My dreams became more vivid, more insistent still. My doctor was seriously considering giving me shock treatment. After my second attack, I was sent to hospital, where I had to spend several weeks under observation, together with lengthy periods under sedation, enabling me to enjoy extended visits to the cottage and environs. But as I came round, I would find myself wired up, plugged into this thingamajig, this cardiac machine, with its flickering lights, its bewildering array of switches and digits. The operator, being overworked, poor chap, had little opportunity to pass the time of day, except once when I asked him about this most impressive cardiac machine of his. His face lit up. "Yes, she's a beaut, isn't she? Latest thing. Only 4 others like it in the entire world. They've got one in Boston, one in Moscow, one in Cape Town, and the 4th is, hold on, oh yes, it's in Kuwait." Don't get me wrong, it's not that I have got anything against these cardiac machines as such. They are doubtless very necessary and admirable things in their way. It's just that, when the anaesthetic's wearing off, they betray an aspect which does not altogether please. One of the nurses reminded me of her. She understood, or at least she said she did, when I talked to her about my dreams, the cottage, the garden and things. It was she who held my hand, just as I suffered my third, and after that I was obliged, regrettably, to change location once again. I still dream of the cottage and my youth-time haunts. It's a pity that my visits now seem to scare its present incumbents, for yes, no prizes for having guessed. I no longer reside in a high-rise flat, not even on the ground floor. I am presently located down in the basement, let us say. The fruit, delicious is not the word. The sword of flame may bar the flesh, may burn through bone and marrow, but never shall the sword of flame set asunder the soul from the place its loving Hello?